Los Angeles, a sprawling metropolis, a beacon of dreams, and a city that never sleeps. The City of Angels, a place where ambition meets artistry, where the sun kisses the palm trees, and where every corner tells a story. Tonight, the drama isn't a traffic jam snaking through the 405 or a reality show cut for maximum impact. It's something far more profound, something that cuts deeper into the city's soul. It's military trucks rolling down boulevards, their heavy presence a stark contrast to the usual flow of city life. These aren't movie props, this is real. Red and blue lights flashing off skyscrapers, painting the night with urgency and a sense of unease. The reflections dance on the glass giants, mirroring the turmoil below. Helicopters slice through the night sky, their searchlights cutting through the darkness, seeking answers, seeking control. The whirring blades are a constant reminder of the power in the air, and the city holds its breath. The vibrant pulse of LA slows, replaced by a tense quiet, a collective anticipation of what's to come. National Guard convoys move through streets that, just yesterday, were bustling with life, laughter, and the relentless pursuit of dreams. We're filled with protesters demanding justice, their voices echoing through the urban canyons, now replaced by the rumble of engines and the heavy tread of boots. Soldiers in camouflage stand guard near murals and coffee shops, a surreal juxtaposition of art and arms, of community and control. This is no movie set. The stakes are real, the emotions raw, and the future uncertain. The deployment was lightning fast, a swift response to a city on edge. Within a day, the Guard was here, transforming the landscape of Los Angeles with their presence. Some Angelinos feel relief, a sense of security in the face of chaos, while others dread the implications, the potential for escalation. The city is split, not just by freeways, those concrete rivers that carve through neighborhoods, but by fear and hope, by differing visions of what the future holds. Is this about restoring order, a necessary step to calm the unrest, or pouring gasoline on a fire, a heavy-handed response that could ignite further anger and division? The Guard's presence changes everything. The dynamic shifts, the atmosphere thickens. The mood, the stakes, the future, everything hangs in the balance, uncertain and fragile. Welcome to LA, 2025, a city grappling with its identity, its challenges, and its destiny, where the biggest show in town is the one you can't turn off, the one playing out in real time on the streets and in the hearts of its people. And no one knows how it ends. The script is unwritten, the ending yet to be determined. How did we get here? It started with pain protests erupting over police brutality and injustice. Thousands marched and chanted and demanded change. Most protests were peaceful, but as night fell, chaos crept in. Vandalism, looting, and clashes with police dominated the headlines. The world watched as LA teetered on a knife's edge. Enter the White House. President Trump, watching from DC, called for law and order, loudly. When the looting starts, the shooting starts, he declared, urging governors to dominate the streets. For supporters, it was strong leadership. For critics, a dangerous escalation. Trump framed the Guard's deployment as a show of force, not support. The message? If local leaders won't control their cities, he will. The rhetoric raised the temperature, and the decision was made. The National Guard was coming to LA. The city braced for what came next, and the world kept watching. Now, the real clash of ideologies began to unfold. Two leaders, two distinct visions for how to navigate a nation in crisis. Their contrasting approaches would soon be on full display. President Trump, with his characteristic resolve, advocated to send in the troops to restore order at any cost, regardless of the potential consequences. His message was clear, short, sharp, and uncompromising, reflecting a belief in decisive action above all else. He saw the protests primarily as chaos to be crushed with a firm hand, not as a symptom of deeper societal issues to be understood and addressed with empathy. The National Guard, in his view, became his primary tool for asserting control and quelling unrest. On the other side of this ideological divide stood Governor Gavin Newsom of California. He called for de-escalation of tensions, emphasizing dialogue and understanding, not domination through force. Newsom pushed back against the president's hardline stance, warning that an overwhelming military force could further inflame already volatile tensions on the streets. He accepted the National Guard's help in maintaining order, but insisted that their role be one of support and assistance to local law enforcement, not an occupying force imposing its will on the population. We are not going to be defeated by this moment, "We will be defined by it," he declared, signaling a commitment to a more nuanced approach. Newsom tried to walk a tightrope, navigating the delicate balance between maintaining order and respecting the rights of protesters. He aimed to use the Guard to maintain order and prevent violence, but firmly rejected Trump's more confrontational and militaristic approach. It was a political standoff of immense proportions, playing out in real time as the city of Los Angeles held its breath, uncertain of what the future held. The stakes were incredibly high, not just for the immediate safety of Los Angeles, but for the very soul and direction of its leadership. And the clock was ticking, each moment bringing the city closer to either resolution or further escalation. Newsom's gamble, dialogue over domination. He made it clear the Guard was in LA on his terms, to support, not confront. He spoke directly to protesters, acknowledging their pain and calling for calm. Newsom's team scrambled to open lines of communication with activists and community leaders. The goals show the government was listening, not just flexing muscle. Critics called it weak, too soft in a moment of crisis. Supporters saw a leader trying to heal, not hammer. Newsom's approach risked looking indecisive if violence continued. But if it worked, he'd be seen as a thoughtful leader who guided LA through the storm. The city's fate hung in the balance. Would conversation cool the flames, or would the gamble backfire? The next hours would tell, and everyone was watching. The National Guard is here, but not for battle. Forget combat scenes, think support staff in uniform. Their main job, logistics. Guard members protect key infrastructure, federal buildings, power stations, communication hubs. By holding these posts, they free up police to manage protests and emergencies. They form lines to protect fire stations, keep crowds in designated zones, and act as a visible, non-confrontational barrier. Their orders prevent escalation, not provoke it. These aren't out-of-state soldiers. They're Californians, called from their day jobs to help their own city. Some see them as intimidating, others as neighbors. Their mission support, not conquest. They're here to keep LA running, not to take it over, and every action is under a microscope. The arrival of the National Guard was a monumental event, and as expected, it set the internet ablaze. Social media platforms became battlegrounds for opinions, anxieties, and surprisingly, humor. Supporters cheered, their voices amplified across the digital landscape. "Thank God the Guard is here," became a common refrain, echoing a sense of relief and hope. "Protect our businesses," was another rallying cry, reflecting the deep concerns of local entrepreneurs. For many residents, the presence of the Guard symbolized safety and a much-needed sense of relief amidst the chaos. It was a visible sign that order might be restored, but just as many jeered, their dissent echoing just as loudly in the digital sphere. "Militarizing our streets will only make things worse," critics argued, fearing an escalation of tensions. "My city looks like a war zone," lamented some, expressing their unease with the heavy military presence. Some saw protectors, guardians of peace and stability. Others viewed them as an occupying force, an unwelcome intrusion into their community. And, of course, in true LA fashion, the city coped with memes, finding humor in the absurdity of it all. There were memes of soldiers guarding juice bars, a quintessential LA image, and plenty of jokes about the Guard getting stuck in LA's infamous traffic, a shared experience for all. Humor softened the tension, providing a brief respite from the underlying anxiety, if only for a moment. On the ground, away from the digital noise, reactions were just as mixed and complex. Shop owners, their livelihoods threatened, thanked the Guard profusely for protecting what was left of their businesses. Protesters, passionate about their cause, pleaded with the soldiers to see their side of the story, hoping to bridge the divide. Some residents offered water to the soldiers, a simple act of human kindness, while others chanted for them to go home, their voices filled with anger and frustration. LA was a city of contradictions, united in anxiety about the present and future, yet deeply divided in its response to the crisis. Everyone had an opinion, shaped by their own experiences and fears, and no one was quiet about expressing it. The city's fractured soul, its deep-seated tensions and conflicting emotions were on full display for the world to see. Dawn approaches. LA is transformed. Guard deployed, leaders at odds, people on edge. The next 24 hours are critical. Every interaction, every decision, every chant will be magnified. The world is watching. Not for a movie, but for a real-life drama that could define a generation. Will the Guard's presence calm the city or ignite new conflict? Newsom hopes for dialogue and healing. Trump's critics fear escalation. The stakes, not just LA's future, but a test of the American idea. How we handle dissent, pain, and the balance between freedom and order. Choices made today will echo far beyond city limits. It's a tightrope walk for everyone. As LA holds its breath, one question remains. How do you heal a city crying out in pain? The answer is still unwritten.